on this computer. Hey there, Alex. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Very happy to see you.
What's this?
Oh,
Choose time.
yeah.
Oh, good message for today.
My brother will be so proud.
For those of you who don't know, Alex O'Neill King is joining us from Perth today. And her brother Mel runs an amazing fitness facility and gym called Athlete X. Is that right?
He's the co-owner, so he's got a partner, Sam. So the two of
Awesome.
them run Athlete X, and one of their projects is this Choose Kind movement.
Right, and that seems to fit with how you and I approach the Pilates community and the world at large right now. So we inadvertently chose the same t-shirt today. Well done, us.
It's also become my family uniform at the moment.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm only in like TMR. Oh no, this is terrible product placement, but I'm only in these at the moment. So we're here today to talk about Alex's role in the Virtual Pilates Summit, which is coming up June 26 to 28. It's a 3-day online event that has been overscheduled beyond belief, which means that it's extremely brilliant value for attendees. You can purchase a single ticket to a workshop for $79. A day pass on Friday or Sunday is $150, and a Saturday pass is $200 because we have 2 brilliant international presenters joining us. So things are a little different on that day. So very exciting. And Alex is presenting on the Friday. Initially is the right word, but we had actually last year started talking about our workshop in Melbourne as a whole series of them for my teacher training project. But you know, things in the world changed, and I was adamant that I still wanted to offer professional development to the community this year. And that it was going to have to be virtual. Sorry, someone wants to say hello. Oh, look who's there.
Yes.
Look who's there.
Oh, hey puppy. Oh, you're so beautiful.
He doesn't have AirPods in, so he can't hear you, but he feels you. So of the number of workshops that Alex and I had kind of put together for TMR Academy, we thought in what we can get through in 2 hours would be something around pain, and you know, it's such a sexy topic, pain at the moment. And in the last kind of, I guess, 10 years it's been on my radar. But Alex happens to be a very talented physiotherapist as well as brilliant Pilates teacher, smack bang full of integrity. So I'm going to hand it over to her because she has a lot to say on the matter, and we both feel very strongly about working with pain, but staying in your own lane professionally. And I'm going to hand over to Alex. I'm going to talk a little bit so you can get to see what will happen in a workshop, and even just some information about who Alex is and where she's at in the industry today. So over to you, dear.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that this is a thing that is happening. I'm excited for the other workshops too. They're going to be amazing.
Yes.
So I guess I've been a Pilates instructor for a while, but was always, even at the beginning of my Pilates journey, I was studying to be a physio. So right from the get-go, the clients that I was getting were people that had some extra things that they were working on. Pain was a lot of the things that came up. So I guess I've been working with that population of people, persistent and acute pain, basically the whole time that I've been teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the other instructors that were around me at the time working in the studio, we'd often problem solve together, and I ended up taking on a little bit of a mentoring teaching role with some of them as well to help them help their clients with pain, because luckily I had a little bit of extra info coming in for me at the time with my physio studies and my physio work. And then over the last sort of few years, my caseload has been very physio heavy, and particularly in the last couple of years working overseas, just a huge portion of my workload has been persistent pain. So really getting to know...
What's the difference between persistent and chronic pain?
Same.
Right.
So they're sort of using that as an interchangeable term these days.
Sure.
the official like sort of timeline would be anything longer than 3 months would start termed as chronic or persistent pain.
Yeah, and certainly all Pilates studios have clients who have a love-hate relationship with persistent pain or a permanent relationship with it.
Definitely. And I think that I like that you use the word relationship, because I think that our relationship with pain is something that has potentially is not serving us well, us, the instructors, and perhaps us as clients. The way that we talk to ourselves about our pain, if we experience it, and the way that we as instructors talk to our clients about pain is potentially something that we can look at and reflect on, and perhaps make some changes to help all of us move forward. I think sometimes we get stuck in a little bit of a rut of, I'm the person with a bad back, I'm the person with a sore knee.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I can't do that. Can't do that.
Haven't been able to do that for 15 years because of X, Y, and Z.
I was once told I shouldn't walk downstairs.
Correct. Oh, yeah, I've got some stories.
So what are we really looking at in terms of kind of current concepts of how to work with our, within our scope of practice within a Pilates studio?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess one of the main things that has come up for me around sort of scope with some of the instructors that I'm talking about is that as Pilates instructors, we can't diagnose. So to tell a client, you've got pain because of this reason, is not a thing that we can determine in the Pilates studio. But there are a huge amount of conversations that we can be having with people in the Pilates studio to help identify a couple more issues that maybe we can help with, and also to invite the client to start to question and understand and analyze their own body a little bit more, so that it doesn't become this just blanket pain statement. They can start to understand some subtleties and some nuances within there that we can help them with, things like discomfort or new sensations or things like this that can come up when you're trying new things for the first time.
Yeah. And when you said that we're really not the people to be assuming that someone as a Pilates teacher has maybe a government accredited or recognized certificate for diploma, advanced diploma, or even as myself as an exercise and sports scientist, we're not the ones who are diagnosing, but we might recognize a lot. We might be very familiar, but you know, I was trained refer, and it's really important that we stick within that. And I see that a lot of people now are going beyond that, and that they're really looking to kind of, I think people have forgotten their role, to be honest. So how do you work out who to send someone to, or how to, I guess how to refer?
Yeah.
If you're not who you are.
Yeah. And I guess and we'll talk about this in the workshop as well, but there's some sort of specific questions around whether this is a new situation. Is the client concerned? Do they feel like they have tools to manage it in the moment or when they get home? And if the answer is yes, they are concerned, yes, this is new, no, they don't feel they have tools to manage it, then that's a definite referral situation.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. But I think even in the physio world, like if we're talking about diagnosing pain, a lot of the research now is also moving away from this identifying one specific structure that is causing the pain. Sure. So even the people that are qualified to diagnose should still be recognizing a broad spectrum of contributing factors. So we are all moving a little bit away from this blaming the one facet joint or things like that.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like even within my own body. So I'm now 38. The way I move, the way I'm built is has changed a lot since I started Pilates in 1999. And what was a preach veteran, what was a very mild scoliosis has become, 20 years in, as our clients are, it's developed. And so what used to be just a a facet joint attention or a little bit of a rib maneuver in a physio or osteopathy consult has become a whole, you know, chain and cascade of things to do with my SIJ and my left big toe and this and that. So I can definitely see how moving away from attacking one one thing has is, you know, no longer relevant and is out of fashion. But of course,
I think that's how Pilates is such a powerful tool, because we do look at the body as a whole and we don't just hone in on one section of the body. So I really want to sort of help people become a bit more confident in using the tools that they've got to help people in front of them, while being current with the language that they use, so that we're not making people fearful of hurting themselves or moving in certain ways when they don't need to be.
I think that's really important. Dexter's got a visitor. I'm about to have a meeting and he's just walking up with his lead, Karen. It's very sweet.
I'm done with it.
Yes, pain is yesterday's news. I think it's so interesting. There's so much talk about language, and I noticed that a certain group of instructors are very I mean, this is off the topic and a bit of a Nicholas rant, but are very anti-teaching, anti-cueing, because there's this idea of empowering clients to find it out themselves. But a lot of people, that does work for a certain cohort, but of course, a lot of people come to us for assistance with a solution. You know, we're part of a team. We're looking to educate as much as exercise them. And of course, educate within our own lane. So I do find that language is very important, and the work around fear and familiarity and being aware and leaning in is crucial to getting a good result. Because as we mentioned before, you know, we've both had people who have been told by someone, don't walk downstairs, or don't do this, or don't do that. And of course, with 15 years of avoiding an activity comes is a companion to chronic deconditioning. And so I guess, how in this workshop are we going to come to understand how to work with pain, or with clients who have that pain relationship?
Yeah, so we're going to learn a little bit about the actual physiological processes that occur when we experience pain. So I know that there's been like a few things around pain is all in your head. And I understand where it come from in terms of it being a central processing mechanism. But we're going to learn a little bit more about the other processes that occur, so that we can help our clients start to understand that a little bit as well. So that we can open up discussions around some of the other factors that might be contributing to their pain that do not include the movement that is occurring right now, to give the client an opportunity to go and explore that for themselves also.
Yeah, and I guess also pain is like, you know, it's one word to describe so many sensations and severity and duration. And it's like saying that I really like to drink wine, but I actually only like dessert wine. Or, you know, so within that, there are so many clinicians who are responsible, educated, qualified to support that generally the people who walk into a Pilates studio are more or less, in terms of, forgive my relationship here, but like basically a Pinot Noir type of pain. So kind of light, cool climate, and not too complex, because usually they would have seen other people, or they will need to see other people as well. And I also think, in terms of staying within your own lane, most Pilates teachers shouldn't be saddled with the burden of providing high level rehab, because we're not qualified, educated and prepared, or supported either.
And I think that once you sort of, even for myself, even though I am a physio, when I sort of accepted and acknowledged that in this context, when someone is coming at me with 4 in the room, 6 in the room, if that's not an appropriate context for me to be providing physio rehabilitation for that person, and to accept and acknowledge that was really freeing. It was like, I actually don't have to try to do this at the moment. That's not what this session is for.
Yeah.
And so
not my role here.
yeah, not my role here. And with conversations with other instructors that I've sort of helped problem solve with that, same for them. Like once they sort of went, I actually don't need to try to provide that service, excuse me, they found it really freeing to be able to acknowledge how they could help this person in this context.
Yeah, and to not to use it in a negative way, but just be a Pilates teacher for an hour.
But that's not there's no just. It's like saying someone's just a nurse. There's no just.
No, absolutely. But in terms of not trying to stretch out and, you know, administer something or to be responsible for something. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to wrap it up now because Dexter has needs and
we cannot let Prince Dexter wait.
No. So just in recap, Alex O'Neill is presenting at the Virtual Pilates Summit on Friday, the 26th of June, approximately 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is an early wake up because Alex lives in Perth. Tickets are $79 for a single workshop or $150 for the Friday day pass. And on Friday, there are 4 2-hour workshops and a couple of workouts. So 10 hours of Pilates for $150. You do not have to do every session, but it is great value, especially for those of us who are more or less underemployed right now. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Oh, mate, thanks for having me.
Can you just show us one more time this lovely head number? Oh. All right, Al, thanks so much for your time. See you at the summit.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Oh, good. See you then.
Bye-bye.